I know the simple way to get rock and roll. I know the simple way to get you out of control. I can manipulate it like a doll. I say to all the chicks and the girls I've loved, to all of my enemies, true and false, everyone who's got no home, I say yeah, I say fuck you all. I know the simple way to get rock and roll. I know the simple way to get you out of control. I can manipulate it like a doll. I say yeah, I say rock and roll. To all of the chicks and the girls I've loved, to all of my enemies, true and false, everyone who's got no home, I say yeah, I say rock and roll.
Hi, welcome you all in the very first episode of This Stage Garage. We are currently sitting in our headquarters, at least the current one. My name is Filip, and together with my friends we've decided to make some videos about one of our passions, which will be cars, some electric vehicles and many other engineering stuff. I had some experience on shooting a amateur video in the past, way before YouTube came to existence, and believe me, there was such a time. And so I've just jumped into my old hobby, and here we are. Okay, so a few words about our team. Me you already know. There is Michał, or Michael in English, and I've met Michał about 10 years ago on some PC tuning contest, and ever since then we've made a lot of projects together, mainly in electronics, because we both have a master degree in electronics. Yeah, and there is also Artur, who is also very good at electronics and has a master degree in that as well, but he has also studied mechanics as a second faculty, and he's a very good at unconventional solutions to engineering problems, so to say. Yeah, and finally we've got Wawrzyn, aka the guy with a name hard to pronounce. Yeah, Wawrzyn in English, the equivalent would be Lawrence, I believe. And there is an interesting story about Wawrzyn. He lived abroad for most of his life, but even though he actually heard about one of the projects that all other three of us have made in the past, and by some cosmic coincidence he ended up in the same city of Wrocław, where we are currently now, and we're just working together now. Yeah. So what we will show you in the next episodes will be really sharing our passion towards cars and some other things. We'll show you how we are working just on regular basis on our rides. There will be probably some new along the way, also some cars of our friends. Definitely there will be some boring episodes about electronics, physics or mechanics on a theory. Yeah, maybe some of you will like it. What else? Probably some footage from some car gatherings. Yeah, one is coming very soon, so we'll show you that in one of early episodes. So maybe let's start with a short introduction of few of our rides.
As first we have Wawrzyn's Nissan 200SX S13. This classic coupe is still one of the most popular drifting cars all over the world. Usually people are changing original CA18 engine to something like Acer 20, but Wawrzyn has reinforced it, and now together with GT28 RS Turbo it produces way over 200 brake horsepower. This car will need some cosmetic touch soon, but more mechanical modifications are also planned. There are rumors about much more powerful drivetrain, so stay tuned. Second one would be my Fiat Coupe, which is far less popular, and the best chance of finding one outside of Europe would be Brazil or Malaysia. This 2-liter turbo version was once the fastest front-wheel drive in Europe, with its 6.5 seconds to 100. We've been experimenting with the exhaust and some other components, and I hope that soon we will reach the goal of a little above 300 brake horsepower. New suspension is also waiting its turn, so definitely there will be something worth watching. This product of German engineering, now owned by Michał, has left the factory in 2005 as Volkswagen Golf Mark V, a much younger cousin of a car that started a hot hatch style in late 70s. It rolled out of production line with 1.9 TDI engine, barely producing 66 kilowatts, and with really basic equipment. A lot has changed since then, including lots of electronics, interior, suspension and brakes, but the biggest modification was fitting much bigger turbo that now squeezes around 165 kilowatts, which is more than double the original output. Although this project may look like complete, believe me that there is always some room for more mods. Now let's go for something lighter. Here we've got my Fiat Seicento that may not look like much yet, but with its very light construction has a lot of potential. Foldable roof is a nice touch too. New engine sitting here right next to me will change this puppy into a real rocket, chopping almost anybody when that light turns green. I'm really eager to see this running low 12s, so make sure you won't miss that one. And last but not least, Arthur's Peugeot 106. This is the best example how to build a fast car out of nothing, like gluing a turbo to a single point injection 1.1 liter engine. But let's hear what the owner has to say about this interesting project. Okay, so here you are with your Peugeot 106. I was actually wondering if this is a good idea to show this in the first episode.
I'm wondering about it too.
Yeah, probably there will be a lot of haters. But anyway, this is a good example of how to do a turbo with nothing. And no money at all.
No cost.
No, quick. Yeah, very, well, maybe not no cost, but low cost. It's like, you know, the final cost of that would be, you know, $150, maybe. If I remember correctly, the turbine itself was around, how much was it? 150 zloty, that would be like $50.
Yep.
Yeah, there it is. Let's start from the beginning. This is the 1.1 liter TA something engine, right? Without a turbocharger, of course. Normally, with a
Mono injection.
yeah. So single point injection, right? Which makes this a bit more difficult. Yeah. But anyway, the turbocharger was, as we said, about $50. It's used one from the 2 liter diesel engine. Yeah,
I think so.
yeah. And the first installation used only this this blue pipe that we took. I don't know, it was from some installation, some cables, whatever. But anyway, there was a lot of that going into this mono injector. And right now, as you can see, it uses much better construction, but it's still PCV pipe that you can find under your sink normally, right? But this was cheap, of course.
Yeah.
It costs like nothing. It's not so bad because you put those rivets here, right? So it doesn't slide. It's actually pretty tough, yeah?
Good enough.
Yeah, it's good enough and pretty rugged, and it costs next to nothing. Yeah, there is even a blow-off here. Yeah, this is interesting. Tell us something about that.
Okay. So there inside that plastic thing there is a second injector.
Second injector, exactly. Why there is a second injector there?
Because we needed to increase the amount of fuel that goes into the engine.
Yeah, and
The original injector was too small.
Yeah, right. So what did you do with this injector here? This is a normal one, right? Like in the multi-point injection.
Yeah, this is a normal one from Peugeot 106 multi-point injector.
Really? This is from the same engine with the
Yes.
multi-point injection?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I think so. This is the one that you bought.
Ah, okay, right. I forgot about that. Okay. And you've actually modified it, right?
Yes. I drilled another. I increased the diameter of the
Yeah.
holes in
Yeah.
the injector and
Okay, so the flow is much higher, and if I remember, you've also changed the fuel pump, right?
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, because the original fuel pump was not big enough. The flow was too small.
Yeah, especially at the increased pressure of fuel.
Yeah, because now you've got something around 0.9. 0.9. Yeah, this is because this is a turbocharger from diesel engine, and those are usually they would have a bit bigger, say, native pressure, right? So without modifying, without modifications to the springs or something, you cannot actually have a lower pressure, right? There were no modifications to the engine. Yeah, no modifications. So the original compression and everything.
The original compression ratio is not high, so it should.
What is the original?
This is 9.
Okay. Anyway, it's not very high, so.
This is similar to the engines that originally have turbine.
Yeah. What else did you add?
So there is another map sensor. There is original map sensor, but
That is
it
still
saturates at 1 bar. I mean,
So
1 bar absolute
yeah,
pressure.
so 1 atmosphere,
Yes,
1 atmosphere
yes, yes.
pressure, right? So without any charging. Okay.
So I
And it's
put
still connected to the original
Yes.
ECU.
And there is
okay.
a little modification. Somewhere there is, oh here, there is Zener diode,
Okay.
and that cheats original computer. that
Right.
The original computer cannot detect
The saturation,
error,
right?
Yeah, saturation.
Okay, of this map sensor. Okay,
So
great.
when turbine is starting to make a pressure, the
Well,
original
actually not the
computer-
turbine, it's the
Yeah.
compressor. It starts to make a pressure. The turbine is on the...
Yeah,
right.
Okay. So then the original computer thinks that there is a maximum throttle position and no more.
Ah, okay, yeah. So then it's actually opening the injector to the full capacity, I guess.
Yeah.
Or close to that. Okay.
There is another
Map sensor, yeah.
sensor. It's connected to my computer that calculates the pressure and gets RPM signal and calculates
The needed
Yeah,
amount
the-
of fuel, I guess. Yeah.
exactly and opens another injector.
And this is for opening the injector.
Exactly.
Okay. And so the electronic is somewhere over there, right?
Yes,
Under
this
this
is under original.
ECU. Okay. But this is just a transistor that opens that, and the brain is inside, or
Yes.
okay. Okay. So maybe we can show what is actually controlling that. Because this was originally something else, right?
Yeah, that was originally the computer for electric vehicles that calculates the power and a lot of parameters, and that was designed by me, and I used it to control the injector because I had their analog inputs and some outputs. So
Yeah. So what for the fuel amount, it's just using the RPMs and the pressure.
Exactly.
Okay, but you can actually display a few other stuff here, right?
Yes, I display here also the how much another injector is open. Yeah, the additional one, and the value of voltage on lambda sensor on the original
okay.
one, so that I can detect.
It's rich or lean. Okay.
Yeah.
Come on, start the engine.
Okay. It's also connected to the computer, and this one shows the.
Oh yeah, this was
pressure.
modified here, right?
Yeah, it shows the pressure in the
It
inlet.
says fuel, but it's actually showing the pressure
Yeah.
in the manifold. Okay, that's great. Come on, add some. Oh yeah, you can hear the blow off. That's good. It was originally 60 horsepower, yeah. Now about 100 maybe? Something like 100 or even more. Yeah, we need to measure that.
It's awesome!
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was Arthur and his 106, and pretty soon you will see a continuation of that, as well as work on all of those other rides. Yeah, and I hope you will like it. Yeah, and see you soon.
J'suis venu poser mes bombes, rien à foutre de vos histoires. Pareil pour parler de ma ville, pour te donner le score. J'me souviens ça, traîner à la crèche, ça, teaser à la fraîche, Heineken, pétard, j'abrèche. On était morts nous, voyez les grands, ils avaient trop la cote. Soulever des mises qui nous mettaient la colle, puis on a grandi.